Call of Duty Black Ops 6. You know what stage we're in, right, Dave?
What?
We're in the stage of everybody's hating the current Call of Duty, and now they're excited for the new Call of Duty.
Oh my God, another Call of Duty. We've been waiting so long since the last Call of Duty 3 months ago. Yay!
What are you telling me, Dave?
No excitement is better than fake excitement.
Okay, I will admit my excitement for this game is definitely higher than Modern Warfare 3. We talked about Modern Warfare 3 last year, but to kind of refresh everybody's memory, there's stages of Call of Duty. You're currently playing the one and you're getting tired of it. It's like, oh man, this game sucks. Like skill-based matchmaking. Oh, sweats. Like that's where we're at now. Everybody's tired of it. This one's getting announced. They're like, oh yeah, the new Call of Duty. We're so excited. They're talking about all the new mechanics and all that stuff. And then it comes out. You're really excited for a few weeks, months, and then you're like the same boat. So it's a good cycle. That's where we're kind of at. But yeah, so Call of Duty 6 has been announced during the Xbox showcase. Should we just roll the trailer, Dave?
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll the trailer.
Boom.
Just real quick, guys. I just wanted to let you guys know that I also am coming out with a video game, and it's gonna be called Duty Calls, and it's gonna be exactly like Call of Duty. And I just want you to rebuy the game from me every 3 months for $70.
Okay, Dave, this one has a lot more, but if you're just listening, it's basically showing clips of politicians in the 90s era, right after, I think it's in the Gulf War, or no, it's right after the Soviet Union has collapsed, and now it's showing during the Gulf War, Black Ops feel like it normally does. Yeah, that's about all lots of explosions as Call of Duty shows.
And I will say, guys, if you're just listening, this is definitely way more of a story kind of feel than any Call of Duty that I've ever seen. So I'm excited for that to come in. And like the trailer, I think they did a good job on the trailer. Like the graphics look good. The game itself looks good. I like that they used Prodigy Firestarter as like the background track, which for me is just like super cool. But I don't know, dude. Like I don't know. Like I just don't know how many more of these fucking games can come out before people are done. Like when are like guys, when are you done?
No,
when are you gonna be done?
they're not going to be done because people buy them every year, including myself. And I will admit, like I used to be a big Call of Duty fanboy, and I didn't care what game it was and what it was all about. I was gonna buy Call of Duty regardless.
Yeah.
And for me, out of like Call of Duty wise, Black Ops is kind of what sparks my interest every time. When it's a new Black Ops, I'm excited. And I think partially is because, like you said, the story trailer and the cinematics of it are so much better than the other Call of Duties, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Activision knows what they're doing.
Why I'm excited about this one. So story-wise, it's a continuation of what the events of Black Ops 6, and it's supposed to take place in the 90s as a spy action thriller. And basically what this story is going to turn into, we'll go into the gameplay and stuff, but story-wise, campaign-wise, you find out there's a hidden like shadow force that's infiltrated the government of the United States. Sounds a lot like Hydra from Marvel, but whatever. And essentially, you come to find out that if you don't agree with this shadow group in the government, you're recognized as a traitor. And so the story is like you're a character that goes rogue, and you have to find your own way without the resources to figure out the conspiracy and uncover it and all this stuff. Yeah, and I think it's Black Ops. It's one of those things you think one thing's true and the other thing it's fake, and then it turns out it's the other way around. So Black Ops wise, it's really cool, and they have you kind of spinning on what you think's happening, and in the end, it's not what happened at all. And you'll have a lot of returning characters. So Frank Woods, who is now at the CIA, I'm guessing he's going to be like your main contact and all that stuff. Campaign wise, it's going to be the same length as like classic campaign. So like the older Black Ops games and Cold War and things like that.
Do you think that most people are playing this for the campaign, or are most people playing this for another multiplayer experience?
I think there's a good mix of people that do it for both. For me, I buy a lot of these Call of Duties to play the campaign first. And like my rule of thumb, and I don't know if anybody else is like this, but if I buy a game that has a campaign, I will not touch multiplayer until I beat the campaign. Like that's how I play. I don't know if that's a majority. And I know a lot of people do love the Black Ops campaigns much more than some of the newer like Modern Warfare's and what was the can't remember the one. I can't, Vanguard. Everybody hated the Vanguard campaign. I didn't think it was that bad. There's been worse. Nobody liked the Modern Warfare 3 campaign from what I read and what I didn't buy it because I was like, this one isn't much of a campaign to me, if that makes sense.
From what I heard about the Modern Warfare campaign, it was like non-existent. It almost felt like it was like not finished.
Right. And that was a big complaint of that one, especially because they said they felt like it was a Modern Warfare DLC. And part of that is they were only given 18 months, whereas Black Ops 6, they've been in development for 4 years. So they should be able to deliver more of a like campaign, like a good solid campaign versus 18 months of just doing DLC Modern Warfare 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say that having the extra time is definitely going to help them out because, like you said, 3 did not get warm welcome, and for good reason. I watched a couple people play it, and I was just like, this is tremendously boring. Even as like a person who does not love Call of Duty anymore, it was just tremendously boring, and I was like really kind of shocked that they put that out as a full release.
I think that's part of the biggest thing with that Call of Duty specifically, and you were right. It's Activision is the publisher, the developer is Treyarch.
Yes, okay.
That's where we
Yeah.
were kind of going with that. That was
Because
my bad.
don't they still flip flop?
Yeah, and then I can't remember who does the other one. It's Treyarch, Infinity Ward does
Yeah,
the Modern
Infinity
Warfare.
War. Yeah,
Yep.
it's like they flip flop every
Yep.
other.
Yep.
Yeah,
Whereas like Treyarch's more of the Black Ops, and then Infinity Ward is like the Modern Warfares and things like that. But yeah, I just think this campaign's going to be so much more enjoyable. The words enjoyable to play, and that's why I'm excited about this one specifically over called Modern Warfare 3. And with the story, it's gonna take some things from Modern Warfare 3 in terms like you can approach different missions in different ways. Like it's still very like story driven, whereas like Modern Warfare 3 really wasn't. It basically just plopped you on a map and said, okay, do these tasks any way you want. Whereas this one, it's still gonna be a campaign story, and I think that's pretty cool.
that's always what I've missed. I've said it a billion times. Like I played Call of Duty. I played the original Call of Duties when multiplayer was secondary. Like when they put out actual games and multiplayer kind of was like the second option. And it's just like I just feel like Call of Duty's gotten to this spot where they just don't care about anything but multiplayer, and rightfully so from them as developers because it's what 99.9% of the people that play the game actually care about. But like I don't know. I'm more excited for this one than anyone in recent times because it does really seem to focus on story, which is the aspect of the game that I like.
The developers are even said, or Treyarch even said, like, we want like everything we add to this game, we want it to be lore about Black Ops. Like, and so they said they're not releasing all the crazy skins. They are, but it's not going to be like right away. Like, they want things to matter to the lore. They're going to really drive the lore of this game and the story of the Black Ops, Frank Woods, Adler into the game rather than just say, okay, here's a campaign. Now let's slap a Nicki Minaj skin in here. They're not going to do that for this one. It's right away. They said, obviously that will come just because like all games are starting to do that stuff. Like, let's add this crazy pack, which it's bound to happen, especially because this game's going to integrate it with Warzone, and they're going to do that. Then these things are going to happen. But other than that, I think the story is going to be fun. I really enjoy Black Ops stories. I actually really enjoy Black Ops in general over some of the older ones or the newer ones, to be honest. Actually, I think it's hard to say because I really enjoy like old school Modern Warfare, and like I don't know, it's kind of a toss up for me. Like I like It's 50-50, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I really enjoy Black Ops, and I really enjoy good Modern Warfare. But in terms of that, multiplayer wise, I don't think they're gonna really groundbreak anything in terms of like new thing. Actually, I take that back. They're changing everything in terms of movement. I don't know if you saw any of that. So they're calling it Omni movement, which I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's got me really interested, and it makes sense on what they're doing. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to activate Sweat God, Movement God times 50.
You think?
Oh my goodness, yes. So it's called Omni Movement, and with this Omni Movement, you can sprint in all directions, so forward, back. So you can sprint like you've been able to strafe and like walk backwards, but now it's a sprint. You can sprint in all
You can
directions.
full sprint like
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah, and you can dive in all directions, forward, back, sideways. Um and it's they say it's supposed to add realistic movement, but I don't know who runs around strafe sprinting. Like I guess like seeing an action movie, they're trying to run and shoot at the same time. I guess that's realistic, but to me it just looks really strange.
I challenge you to strafe full speed to the left as far as you can go and see what happens. That's not gonna work, guys. That's not gonna work.
Shoot at the same time. I don't know. I think it's cool that they're trying something new, and I don't want to bash it because I think it's a good idea, a good concept in terms of what can we do different than these old Call of Duty games? Like what can we do to break us from the norm or the monotony of the same feel of every single Call of Duty? The what you feel every time you watch somebody play it, because you're like, what's the difference? Like what am I looking at? What's new? And I think they're trying to do that with this Omni movement, and I think it's cool. You'll be able to combine some of the movements. So you'll be able to slide and like dive and shoot. It sounds cool. It sounds more action movie like, and what really may set the stage for future FPS games, if that makes sense.
Two things here are that if you guys were just listening and did get a chance to see the trailer, there was some cool things in the trailer that they used actual clips of like ex presidents. So there was the George W. in there. There was Bill Clinton in there, and I think it's kind of interesting that they're picking a time frame that like some people that are playing the game actually experienced. You know what I mean? I lived through Bill Clinton as a president. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not this isn't World War I or like, you know what I mean? Like it's something that actually kind of happened in the timeline of my life, which I think is makes it more intriguing. I think one of the things though is I don't know, dude. I think Call of Duty needs to figure out a way to kind of, and I could be totally wrong here and let me know if this is not a thing anymore, but I think they need to kind of shorten the gap of like ease of play between console players and PC players.
So it's funny you bring that up, and they're trying to do that.
Are they trying to do that? Because basically everybody that I talked to was like told me if you play everybody that I know that played Call of Duty was basically like I was forced to PC. Like you cannot compete playing multiplayer on a console.
That's an argument you could have, and to be honest, like you'll hear PC players complain that controller players have aim assist, and console players will argue like, yeah, but you're just a flick of the wrist and like you're just pushing buttons, like it's harder on controller. I don't get that sense. There's games I really do very well with my controller, and I know I shoot some PC players, and then it's the other way around. There's games where PC players kill me a bunch of times, and this can go into the argument of like skill-based matchmaking, which we're going to get into that a little bit. But what they're doing for this game to kind of combat the button input, and I think it's almost handheld, like hand holding, and again, we're going to make the movement gods and sweat gods all really excited. They're adding something called intelligent movement, which is going to take away the requirement to press additional buttons. So there's going to be something called sprint assist. So it's going to help you run, like where you don't have to push a run button, like a sprint button. It's just going to automatically do that. Yeah. Mantle assist. So when you run up against something, it's automatically going to jump over rather than you having to hit X or A to climb over something. Yeah, and then there's crouch assist. So I don't know how that's going to work. If you're standing behind something, it automatically crouches. I don't know. And for me, like I feel like that takes away from the gameplay. Like I don't know what if I like that. And to back up a little bit, you can turn those off, change them to adapt to your play style. But for me, it's like, okay, so how's that fair if I have to continue to push A and this other person is only aiming? You know what I mean? I feel like that's almost a step backwards. Like it's making it too simple for everybody.
I mean, it's too much. It's making the game play itself,
Exactly.
which is like why even bother playing the game if the game's playing itself?
Right. And they brought the comparison to racing games. Like racing games have brake assist and all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, but that's a lot different. I don't think you can call a first person shooter game like you can't compare it to a racing game. Like I don't know why they thought they needed that. And I don't know how many people are going to use it, but for me, I just feel like it's making the game to, like you said, play by itself and not really make it about the player. And I think that's kind of weird, but it is cool. You'll get to turn that off and not have to worry about. But you'll have people complain like, "Oh, you're using sprint assist. You're a noob." But I also see on or like I said, the sweats and the movement gods and like they're gonna turn it off because or turn it on because they don't have to hit anything except for shoot. I can kill people a bunch of times and only have to shoot. That's crazy.
Yeah, and like I don't know, why don't they just change the like the max sensitivity on the mouse to match the speed of a controller?
You can crank your controller sensitivity insanely high.
Really?
Yeah, like it's almost impossible to use if you crank it up too high. And I hate that argument when people are like, "Oh, it's PC versus controller." I kill PC players. PC killers kill me, and I don't see why it needs to be a big deal. If you want to learn how to use keyboard and mouse, guess what? You can plug in a keyboard and mouse into your Xbox or your PlayStation. If you're that worried about it, just do it. And if you're worried about people using a controller, guess what? You can plug a controller into your PC and try it.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I don't know if people like. I'm gonna get myself fired up here.
He's all riled up.
I'm just saying, like,
as long
everybody
as
has an opportunity to try both. And like, if you're like, oh, keyboards are too expensive, there's like $10 keyboards or I don't know. That's all I'm saying is like, try them. Like, I tried mouse and keyboard. I will never try it again because it's nearly impossible for me. It takes a lot of work to learn how to use mouse and keyboard.
but you know how people are, and as long as they have the option, this war will never die.
No, it
Like
never will. But for me, I don't care.
Yeah, the developers themselves need to figure out a way to say like, this is it. Like, it's good for both, and then the war dies.
You know what the war is, Dave?
What?
Turn off crossplay. You can do that too. That's an option. If you don't want to play with PC controller players, turn off crossplay. But guess what? You can't play with your PS5 friends. You can't play with your PC friends. There's your answer. If you wanna
He's so fired up.
No, I'm fired up because it doesn't make sense to me for people to cry or wow, I'm using mean words now.
I know. I cannot wait for these comments. I love
to
it.
get frustrated about playing against these different inputs, then just turn off crossplay. Like it's that simple. And like everybody argued for so long, oh, we need crossplay. Look what's happening now. Everybody's complaining about something else. There's always something new to complain about.
Always. There's always something new to complain about. And that's why I said that the devs need to take it upon themselves to solve the issue and just make it so that there is no discernible difference that anybody can kind of pick up on, because then the war will die. But as long as it's in the players' hands, it'll be a revolving door. They'll never figure it out. So,
and all I'm saying is like, solve one issue, 10 more arise. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what happens. A couple other things before we start making more people mad. Like I said, we already talked about all the intelligent movement. You can change that to fit your play style. I also really like the player, or like the way your player moves is going to interact with the world around you. So if you're like walking slow around the corners, like your gun's going to tilt. Or if you're running and you go to dive, it's going to actually dive into the water. And hitboxes have been changed like dramatically. So I think they said they only had 4 hitboxes in terms of like how you would die. Now there's like 12. And so when you get shot, so if you get shot in the stomach, you're going to react from the stomach, you're not just going to drop like old animations. So the way animations work, it's going to be more physics based on where you get shot. And I think that's really cool. And I don't know why that hasn't been a thing in recent games in a long time, or like in Call of Duty specifically. I don't know why that wouldn't have been a thing.
Well, that's a lot of work. That's tough to do that when you got to spit out a game every 18 months.
That's very true. One thing that they're bringing back to multiplayer in general is classic prestige, and so you'll get to rank up prestige
That's cool.
10 prestiges, and then once you reach max prestige, you have what's called mastery, in which you can get up to after 10 prestiges, you go up to 1,000. Yeah. Um, Warzone wise, they haven't talked about it much. I'm guessing they're going to on their big reveal on August 28th. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops content will all be integrated into Warzone. And my biggest question with that, I'm wondering if the movement's going to change dramatically too in Warzone. I would only assume that they would.
Yeah, I feel like they can't have a different movement system though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's not possible. Like
Yeah.
they've integrated one movement system into the gameplay, so it would be very challenging to kind of go back on that and have two different movement
Right.
systems. It would be like having two different like shooting systems
Right.
within the same game.
And that kind of sucks for people that aren't going to get Black Ops 6 and that are continuing to play Modern Warfare 3 and
Oh yeah.
if the Warzone, I mean, things have to move along. So I guess it's kind of one of those things. Got to keep up with the times, I guess. But it's gonna stink for the people that want to continue to play Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer and Warzone, like going back and forth with that.
I wonder if it divides itself, where if like it'd be like a patch where if they know if you have Black Ops and if you do, like you get patched into this new movement system, and if you don't, then you don't get it.
I don't know. I feel like that'd be a really not hard. I think it's gonna add to the amount of space that you'll need still. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, because you'll be having two different movement systems in one game.
And that could be a lot of like that could be a huge headache for like if you want to play with your homies and you're trying to squad up and like half of you got Black Ops and half you don't, and it's like you can't play together anymore.
What I think's gonna happen, Warzone's gonna transition to the movement of Black Ops 6, and the guns and stuff are gonna continue on that way. But I think movement wise, it's gonna transition to Black Ops 6 eventually. I don't know if it's gonna be right away as Black Ops was released, but I'm curious to see where that's gonna go. Very, very curious to see. And I don't play like I play Warzone with my friends, but I prefer multiplayer. I'm just better at it, I guess. And that brings us to the hot topic of skill-based matchmaking. Dave, everybody hates skill-based matchmaking.
I know.
And for me, I didn't know this was an argument for the longest time.
It's a huge argument.
I didn't know, and I never really noticed it in terms like I have really good games and I have really bad games, and I it's back and forth. I never have a game where I feel like that person is the exact same strength as me. You know what I mean? I don't get that sense when I play on multiplayer.
I mean, I don't want to be this guy, but I'm going to throw it out there and say if you had to guess who is the most upset about skill-based matchmaking, who do you think it would be? Is it good players or is it bad players?
Good players.
Good players. And why would they be upset about skill-based match?
They want to crush everybody.
Because they want to get into a game and just crush a bunch of noobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna make some people angry, but I don't know what to tell you guys. Like you don't want to play against people who have as much experience as you, but you're in the NBA and you want to play like a high school team. That's what you want to do, and you're mad you can't do that. Like I don't know what to tell you guys.
For me, I don't mind skill-based matchmaking, and I'm not a great player by any means. Like, but I feel like I can hold my own some games where I do really well, and then other games I do really bad. And sure, I'll get frustrated, but I'm not going, oh, skill-based matchmaking, I hate it. Like, no, I'm saying, dang, that person was much better than me this game. Like, and that's all it is. And I don't freak out saying, and it's funny that you bring up like the good players. And then I really find it funny. So they really highlighted the fact that you can change your HUD to work out for your vertical shorts and TikToks too. And I'm like, okay, so now they're really trying to cater to these good players that create content, which is great for them. Like, I'm not trying to say don't make it so content creators can make their life easier, but it's just funny that they wanted to highlight that for.
Yeah, no, I mean it's cool and it's definitely the new thing, and like there's billions of people making content. What we are one of those people, you know what I mean? So it's cool that they're thinking about us. And people aren't gonna like this, but I'm gonna advocate for the skill based matchmaking because here is why skill based matchmaking is good. I'm not a Call of Duty player. I'm not. And if I ever want to try Call of Duty without skill-based matchmaking, there's no chance for me. There's no chance because you guys have been playing Call of Duty for 20 plus years and like are just eons above me when it comes to skill, right? And I'm gonna load into a game with you, and I'm gonna move 4 feet and get shot in the head every single time that I load up. And it's like I'm done. Like I'm done. I'm never like I'm done. I'm never playing that ever again. Like I want to get into these matches with people like me that are new, that are starting out the game, so we can kind of learn together and like figure it out. You know what I mean? And like without skill-based matchmaking, that doesn't happen because Call of Duty players, the 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 just the amount of Call of Duty players is gigantic and the amount of good players is gigantic, and there is no chance that without skill-based matchmaking, I won't be loaded into a game with just 3 dudes that are gonna just whoop my ass in 4 seconds and I'll never wanna touch the game again. So, like, I get it, but it like, there is a reason for it, guys, and, like, I know a lot of people are being like, "Well, I don't care if you never played Call of Duty, and I don't care if you ever try it. Like, I just want it the way that I want it." But like, for the greater good of gaming, it is here, and for that reason, you know what I mean?
It's funny you say that because the Call of Duty community is some of the most toxic community members ever. They don't care about anybody that's not in the community. They don't care about anybody in the community. They just want to.
And they definitely don't care about new players join. Like, no one is like holding your hand, teaching you how to play. You know what I mean?
Like I've been playing, like you said, playing for 20 years, but I've kind of gotten to the mindset. I play to have fun, and I know there's a lot of people like me, and there's a lot of people like me that just want to have fun. But I have fun if I'm playing Call of Duty. Like I'm in the cycle where like, oh, I'm excited to try the new one. I'm having fun, and then the moment I stop having fun, I quit playing. Like I don't continue to make myself mad because people are better than me in the game. No, I just quit playing, wait for the new one, or I'll revisit it with my friends. Text me, hey, let's play this. Okay, I'll play Warzone for a bit, play a couple games, get a couple wins, and then die a bunch, and then turn it off. Like I don't care. Like that's fine with me. I don't need to play so much where I feel like skill based matchmaking makes a difference for me, if that makes sense.
It's kind of sad, honestly. And honestly, like I know I crap on Call of Duty a lot, and I do. I crap on it a lot. But like, if it was a little bit more welcoming and a little bit easier to get into it, I would probably be into it because I like playing with my friends. You know what I mean? I love shooter games. I love shooter games, but it's just so hard to break into that community if you've never been there before. And that's part. I think that's part of the reason why I've latched onto like Dark Souls and stuff like that. It's just like it's a totally different vibe. You know what I mean? Like the first time that I ever played Bloodborne on stream, I had people from the Dark Souls community like jumping into my chat, and it was all positivity. Like, you're doing great, dude. Like, you're gonna die a bunch of times. Don't worry about it. Like, if you tried this, like, learn, you know what I mean? Like, and you beat that first boss, and everybody's just like, let's go, you did it. You know what I mean? It's just like such a different kind of like vibe. And like, I wish Call of Duty was more like that because if it was a little easier to get into it, like I said, I feel like I would be into it. But at this point, I just feel like I'm so far removed from it, and trying to break into that mold is just like impossible at this point. So I'm just done. I'm just like I'm done with Call of Duty.
You're not the only one that is. For me, like I said, I'll play it because I'm a sucker and I have formerly been a Call of Duty fanboy, and I think I always will be. But I don't play it to the point where this fly is gonna drive me insane.
Couldn't even see it.
Oh, it flew. It's flying in front of me like 50,000 times. But anyway, I'm gonna play it because like I said, I'm that fanboy. But I'm to the point where I play it because I want to try it and play the campaign because I love the Call of Duty campaigns. I know they're not the most like cinematic or the most groundbreaking story games, but in terms of like me just shooting a bunch of people and going through missions and try to uncover story, I like Call of Duty stories or mission or campaigns. Um, Multiplayer is just a bonus for me. I know I'm the 1% that you said 99% of Call of Duty players just wants online and that's it. But for me, I love the campaign. I've played almost every single one and I enjoy every single one.
Regardless of what happens, honestly, the campaign side of it does look pretty cool. So inevitably, when this goes on sale in a few months, when it's kind of run its course, I'll probably grab it and just play the campaign and not worry about the multiplayer at all. So yeah, that aspect of it looks really cool, and I'm very interested to see how the community responds to these changes in multiplayer.
October 26th, 2024. So coming up, the showcase or the final reveal of like multiplayer, and I'm guessing Warzone stuff is August 28th. So keep an eye out for that. And let us know in the comments below. Are you excited about the game? Are you excited about the game? And do you care about skill-based matchmaking? Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below.